is everyone doing today? Hopefully good. Yes, I hope you all are doing well. I hope you've had a wonderful week since last time I saw you. I am obviously back again, hello, with another true crime video. Shockingly, people have actually sent me requests of videos they would like me to do. Oh boy, that coffee's not sitting well in my stomach. Okay, yes, people have sent me requests and I actually have a pretty long list of like people, true crime things to get through. So today will be one of the first requests that I ever got. I'm going to start working my way through the list. So yeah, if you sent me a request, just keep it on, and eventually I'll probably do your suggestion. There. Words are hard right now. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So we are going to be talking about an American serial killer. Her name is Belle Gunness. And yeah, she's wild. She's a wild lady. So Belle Gunness is like one of the most prominent female serial killers in the US. She had about 50 victims, which is quite a few. And also when I was doing this, I read somewhere that it said that 95% of serial killers are men, which means that only 5% are women. But I also read somewhere that like there's probably way more female serial killers, but women just choose different tactics of murdering, which makes it harder for them to get caught. So there's probably way more honestly out there. Okay, let's get started. Belle Gunness. So she was born on November 22nd in 1859, and she was born in Selbu, Norway. So she was originally, like, her birth name was, I'm probably not even gonna try to say it. I'm just gonna put it down here for you all to read because I can't even get like regular names right and I really don't want to butcher this. Anyways, so she was born in Norway. She was the daughter of a stonemason and was the youngest of 8 siblings. So there was a lot of them, which I guess is typical in this time. Like this is in what, like the late 1800s, early 1900s. So people had a lot more kids back then. So a little bit about Belle. It's hard with cases like this. When things were so far away, it's hard to find like really good, accurate information. And yeah, so I don't know how accurate any of this is gonna be, but we're gonna give it a shot. So I couldn't really find who the father was or how this happened. Well, I mean, we all know how this happened, but let me get going. Okay, 1877, Belle ends up being pregnant. And so she's pregnant, living in Norway, and I'm fucking doing a terrible job of this, oh my god. So she's pregnant, living in Norway, and she's like walking down the street or something, and this man comes up to her and kicks her in the stomach, which causes her to have a miscarriage. And this man was really wealthy and was never prosecuted. And some people have said that this incident really changed Belle and helped kind of mold her into the person that she became. I don't know. I mean, she might have always been this person and done this, but I do not know. But that happened to Belle. So yeah, that was very traumatic, obviously, tragic for her. She had this dream of being wealthy and living in America. So she worked hard, worked her butt off in order to get a ticket and sail to the US. So yeah, she saved up enough money, headed to the US and settled in Chicago in 1881. And that is when she first changed her name to Belle Gunness. So she wasn't in America for very long before she married. So she married Mads Albert Sorensen in 1884. Yeah, so she married him. They were seemingly in love and had this nice little store that they opened together. Unfortunately though, the store was not doing well and ended up mysteriously burning down. So with the insurance money collected from the store, they were like, hey, we're going to Texas. And yeah, they moved with their 4 children. Their kids' names are Caroline, Axel, Myrtle, and Lucy. Unfortunately, the first 2 children, Caroline and Axel, died at a fairly young age. It said that they had colitis, or that was the like official ruling of their death or official cause of death. But colitis does also mimic like symptoms of poisoning, so you never know. Officially though, the children died of colitis. So Belle collected life insurance on both of her children's deaths, and then shortly after her husband died, pretty conveniently on the exact same day that both of his life insurance policies overlapped, he died of heart failure. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. He died of heart failure. Her husband's family was obviously very suspicious of her. I mean, like, what are the odds that your husband dies on the exact same day that you could like potentially get all this money from him? So his family was very suspicious of her, and they demanded an inquiry be done on the death, but no charges were ever filed. So with all this insurance money that Belle had, she decided to take her two children, I guess her two remaining children, and buy a ranch in Indiana and move there. So while in Indiana, Belle meets a new man. His name is Peter, and so they get married, and Peter had, I believe, two children from a previous relationship. And then it just so happened that one of Peter's daughters ended up mysteriously dying 1 week after their wedding. Peter wasn't feeling good about this. He was like, something seems a little off. So he sent his other daughter away to go live with family, because he was like, let's just like get away from here. Was not feeling good about it. Unfortunately for Peter, shortly after he also died. When the death of Peter was investigated, it was like a bloody mess. Like it was just like a messy crime scene. And Belle claimed that Peter died because a meat grinder fell on his head. Which maybe did happen, but... So Belle's adopted daughter, and again, this is where the story gets kind of weird. So it said adopted daughter, so I'm assuming that means that this is Peter's daughter that was sent away, but I really don't know. Maybe I could have found more information. I don't know, like we just get what we get. But anyways, Belle's adopted daughter, Jenny, told some people, I think some teachers at her school, that Belle was the one who murdered her father. Like Belle murdered her father. So there was an investigation that was done. And then when it came time to Jenny having to testify, she claimed that she had never said anything about Belle murdering Peter. So everything was dropped. And that was one of the last times that people ever saw Jenny. Belle claimed that she sent her away to a boarding school, but her body was later discovered on the ranch. So she was never sent to boarding school. So in 1906, Belle is living at this ranch by herself. Well, I guess, and her children. Living at the ranch with herself and her children. Her remaining children. And she ends up hiring this man who was a construction worker. His name was Roy Lamsphere. She hires him to help around with work on the ranch. You know, Belle was described as being a very beautiful woman that men were just drawn to. So shortly after, her and Ray became lovers. I don't think it was a serious relationship. It was just a casual kind of thing. And around the same time that Ray shows up at the farm, Belle also decides to put this like ad, I guess, in the newspaper. Basically just saying that she's, you know, a single woman looking for a partner. All of these suitors start showing up to her ranch with all of their money, trying to marry Belle. Unfortunately, these men all disappeared. There was one man that showed up to her ranch as well. His name was George Anderson. And so he showed up to the ranch without any of his money, but told Belle, like, hey, if you marry me, I'll like pay you this debt. I have all this money. I'll bring it to you. So if we get married, we'll be like rich. We'll be good to go. Belle is an amazing host from what it said. She gives him like this nice lavish room in the ranch. It's the most beautiful room. Makes him all these super delicious like fancy meals. And yeah, he's staying there for a bit. And as George is there, he starts to notice that something is just a little off with Belle. Like something just isn't right. And then one night, you know, he's just sleeping in bed, just sleeping. And he wakes up and sees Belle standing in his room, holding a candle, like just staring at him with this super creepy, like sinister look on her face. And George is like, this is not right. Smart old George, trusts his instincts, packs up his stuff. I almost swore. Trying not to swear, I'm trying to get better at that. Anyways, George packs up his stuff and dips. He's like, I'm out of here. Something is not right at this farm. And honestly, good job, George. So in 1908, Belle's luck kind of starts to run out a bit. So there's this weird like feud happening between her and Ray, the like hand that she hired. I don't really know what it's all about. Like she was claiming that he was like harassing her, and so there was like this big feud going on with them. And she was going to lawyers, and it was a big thing. And then at the same time, there was a loved one of one of the men that had went missing also shows up to the ranch. She like follows, I don't know, like a paper trail. I don't know what you would follow. I don't know if this is necessary to say. I noticed in my last video that I actually like laugh a lot, and it's not even a good laugh, it's like a wheeze laugh. And I'm not laughing, like I just want to just say that I am laughing at some of the ridiculousness of what is happening. I'm not trying to be disrespectful of anybody. I am just, yeah, I don't know what to say. But yes, I just felt like I should probably throw that in. Anyways, so she follows this paper trail I don't know. She finds the ranch. She knows that her loved one's at this ranch. And she's like, something ain't right. Like, where's so-and-so? And Belle's like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. So people are starting to catch on to where the neighbors are starting to get suspicious because, I mean, all these people show up and they never leave. People are just disappearing. Like, people are getting suspicious of Belle. I mean, it is said that she killed 50 people, so like eventually someone's gonna notice. Belle is like, I need to come up with a plan. I need to come up with a really good plan here. So it's said that she went to her lawyer and had him write up this document basically saying that Ray Lampsphere has threatened her again and has threatened to burn down her ranch. And then she sends Ray away to go pick up this like new maid for the house. So Ray's out of town. While Ray is gone, like her house and the barn, like the whole farm, just like mysteriously burns to the ground. So originally, Ray was actually arrested for this. He was arrested on May 22nd of 1908 and was actually found guilty of arson, of like setting this thing on fire. But while he was in prison, he ended up telling everyone about Belle. So I should say that in this fire, they found the remains of Belle's children, of everyone that was in the house, and they also found a head that was burnt, so it was hard to identify, but there were like teeth, almost, is it called dentures? Dentures in the mouth. I don't know what I'm doing. They found dentures in the mouth that matched Belle's, like they were her teeth. Not her real teeth, but her like insert teeth, right? Inside this head. So they were like, oh, this must be the body of Belle. Belle must have died in the fire. Well, Mr. Ray, he's in jail, and he tells everybody, hey, this is what Belle's been doing. So apparently Ray was helping her bury the bodies of these men. And he also tells police that the body that was found was not hers, and that Belle had planned this whole elaborate plot. She'd ended up pulling all the money out of her bank accounts like the day before, started this fire, and then just skipped town, just disappeared. So they're starting to look into all of Ray's claims, and that's when they start finding bodies. Like lots of bodies. Some of these men were like buried. Apparently some of them were fed to her pigs, which is a common theme, I guess, that happens quite often. But yeah, they find all these bodies of all these other people that she had killed. So she obviously killed a lot of men. It said that she was able to do this by drugging their food, mainly their coffee, and then she would, like as these men were drugged, hit them over the head with a meat chopper. There were some men who were chloroformed in their sleep. So, you know, if you think back to Mr. Anderson, it was probably for the best that he left when he did, because she was just creepy standing in his room. So she was probably about to chloroform him and take him away. But yeah, she was murdering men left and right and burying them and feeding them to pigs. And I mean, she was never found. Like, she essentially got away with these murders. For several decades, people were reporting seeing her in different areas. You know, people said that they saw her in Chicago and San Francisco and New York and LA. And these reports continued to happen for about 20 years. And like the one detective said that they would receive about 2 reports a month of spottings of her. So just like an overwhelming amount of spottings. Some people believe that Ray Lampsfair actually killed her. Some people believe that she died in the fire, and I mean, other people believe that she obviously just faked her own death and was still out there. But something fun happened. Well, I don't know if fun's the right word, actually. I shouldn't have said that. In 1931, there was a woman known as Esther Carlson. She was arrested in LA for poisoning a man for his money. And 2 people that actually knew Belle ended up recognizing these Esther's photos and saying, no, like, this is Belle, this is her. The identification was never proven. Unfortunately, this Esther Carlson died while she was still awaiting trial, so nobody will ever know if that was Belle. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I'll put up the photos here, you guys can determine, but people are saying that it looked a lot like her. And I also read somewhere that this Esther woman had pictures of 3 children that looked very similar to Belle Gunness's kids, so we will never know. We will never know what happened to Belle Gunness. She's definitely dead already, so yes. And that is that. That is the story of the female American serial killer, Belle Gunness. She was a wild lady. I hope this all made sense. I don't know, like, I don't know if I just black out when I film these videos, but by the end of it, I'm like, no one's gonna have any idea what I said. Like, none of this made sense. So hopefully you enjoyed. And yeah, that is it. Again, I take requests. I have a list of requests that I'm gonna be working through, so stay tuned for those. Thank you to everyone that has sent me ideas. Yeah, if you like this, then please like it and share it, show people. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a great evening, and I will see you all later. Okie doke. Goodbye.